via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. The illness is your sleep, not your character. Illness is your sleep, not your character. Morality and immorality in a way determines your character, your way. But the real problem, the disease, is sleep. Sanatana scriptures use two words, Uttishta, Jagrat. Wake up and be awake. You are sleeping. Alarm rings. You get up. But are you awake at that time? Your eyes are closed. You have to catch a flight or do something. So you set an alarm, you get up. You get up, but are you awake with that? So two words are important. You can wake up and turn your side and go back into the sleep. So wake up and awake. Two things are important. Tantra will not say in any way be moral or immoral. The only thing is your sleep. If you are asleep, change it. It doesn't matter whether you are moral or immoral, that can change. You can change your shirt. You can change your appearance. But if you are asleep, does not matter. If you have to go to a conference, what you wear is not matter. Are you awake? You are speaking what you're supposed to speak? Or you are rash in your speaking? As many times happens with the politicians and people. People are listening to you. Are you at home? Children are listening to you. Children are following you. Are you asleep when you say things or use a particular word or syllable? Or you are awake? You must have it's in your mind very clear what will be its impact on those who will hear. When you write a post, you must remember what will be the effect of this. Because whatsoever you are writing, it is a mathematical equation of words, and a word is an equation of certain letters. Arrangement of the letters makes it note, and different notes put together in a harmonious order is known as music. So when you are speaking, are the words that you are using following the notes? And in a spiritual field, what are the notes? Where this word will affect the one who is listening. We need to transform from where you are the jazb, the suluk, the physical, the emotional or psychological, intellectual. Your words should create a balance between the two. When an electrician comes, there is a malfunctioning in your appliance. He checks the harmony first the separate channels, then is the current flowing into it. Each word that you speak must have its effect at the physical plane, at the emotional plane, at the intellectual. If the word has simultaneous equal impact on all these three levels, then automatically the fourth dimension is attained. And fourth dimension is the dimension of transcendence. So Tantra will not talk about, your priest will talk about morality and immorality. Tantra, an awakened one, will not talk about morality or immorality. The only thing is, if you are asleep, it will only say, if you are asleep, change it. Allow yourself to become more and more alert and awake. Wherever you are, does not matter. Whatever you are doing is not important. What is important? What is the level of your alertness? If we can give it a frequency, as it happens in the sound vibration, it is measured in terms of hertz. The sound, each sound is measured in hertz. That is the unit. Om has the frequency of 432 hertz. 4, 3, 2. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 2, 9. 9 is the mysterious, mystical number that watches, visualizes, coordinates everything that is happening. The magnet, in a magnet, the north and south pole are visibly acting together. But who is guiding them from behind? That force that is of the number 9. Force of the number 9. So you are your words. When Margaret Noble, Sister Nivedita, asked Swamiji, when you were speaking in the Parliament of Religions, it appeared as if rays of light were emitting out of your body, out of your being. If you had asked us to plunge into the sea, we would have done it without a second thought. Vivekananda responded to that in a very beautiful manner. He said, when I was speaking in the Parliament of Religions, the words were mine, the voice was mine. 3 plus 6. But the force behind my voice was of that haggard man. The force behind my voice was of that haggard man. मेरे दिल को दिल न समझो, मेरी जुबान को जुबान न समझो, कोई और बोलता है, मेरी जुबान न समझो. Someone else speaks through me. Allow yourself to become more and more alert. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, if you are immoral, Tantra says there is no problem. We are not concerned with your immorality. We are concerned with your sleep and with how to transform your sleep into alertness, into awakening. Do not fight with morality or immorality. Do not consider that morality is wrong or immorality is wrong. Just try to transform your sleep. If you are moral, it is okay. Tantra is not going to tell you first become immoral or moral and then try to do something else. Neither does the immoral one or neither does immoral one has anything to do to transform himself. Neither. Have you noticed all those who are moral, did their morality transform them? Or those who are immoral, they have brought them down, their immorality brought them downwards? No. It is the conditioning. The society will say that this person is very highly high, he is moral. This person is immoral, he is downgraded. Has morality transformed any person to become enlightened? Nor does the moral person has to transform himself into an immoral one in order to get into meditation. For meditation, it does not matter whether you are a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, or moral or immoral, or man or a woman, or right or wrong, whatsoever it is. Meditation has nothing to do with that. All they need is to change the quality of your consciousness. Meditation is that technique, that device that changes your consciousness. So, wherever you are, a sinner or a saint, for Tantra, it makes no distinction, no difference. If you are asleep, then try the techniques to be alert. And don't try to change the symptoms. Go to the root cause. The sinner is ill, and the so-called saint is also ill, because both are asleep. If a sinner is awake, there is no problem. If a saint is awake, no problem. It does not matter. The illness is your sleep, not your character. Your character is just a byproduct of your sleep. And whatsoever you do while remaining asleep will not make any basic change. You are asleep, you are chanting your scriptures, doing fasting, doing this, that, so will not transform you. Only thing can change you and create a mutation into you, can bring transformation in you, is your alertness or your awakening. The question is not how to become more and more alert. The question is how to become more and more alert. Not change your character from good to bad, moral to immoral, virtue to sin. So whatsoever you do, make it an object of alertness. If you do not focus on morality, immorality, good or bad, virtue or sin. That will happen on its own. When the root cause, the root is nourished, the nourishment reaches no plant except with a certain plants. The nourishment to the plant comes through the roots. because the nourishment is in the earth element that has the capacity to absorb the nutrition with water. The nutrition is in the solid form. They are water soluble. The earth absorbs, the earth becomes nutritious. When the earth becomes nutritious, the roots work like a roots suck the nourishment from the earth, absorb, and through the capillary system of the capillary of the plant, the nourishment reaches the entire plant. This is the scientific way of doing that. So where does your nourishment comes from? From your basic center or the earth center. The Mooladhar. The Mool means basic. The basic center, the earth center. Yes, it takes, the plant takes the chlorophyll from the sunlight through its leaves. Then everything becomes relevant in the plant. But first, if you are getting all the nourishment, chlorophyll from the plant, from the sunlight, the breeze, whatsoever it is, but it is not, the earth is not nourished, the roots are dried, the plant will vanish. There is a beautiful story in the life of Mao Zedong. His father had died. His mother had a beautiful garden with beautiful flowers once, and he was a small child, maybe 8 or 9 years of age. Once his mother fell sick and she was not able to take care of the plants, so he told the mother, "Do not worry, I'll take care of the plants." So he started taking care of the plants, but he noticed that the plants are not as alive as when the mother was taking care. He was worried. So he started taking care more vigorously, but it did not happen. When the mother recovered and she saw the plant, she had tears in her eyes. The boy, Mao, said, "I do not know, I took care of the plants very much." He said, "How did you take care of the plants?" He said, "I talked to the leaves. I wiped out the leaves every morning, talked to them." The mother simply laughed. She said, "Son, the nourishment, the best way of taking care of a plant is through its roots. If the roots are alive, then the leaves will do their work on their own. If your energy, you are connected to the source of energy, which is the earth, and then the leaves will do their work, the branches will do their work, because the basic nourishment comes from there." So, where does the nourishment of an individual comes from? Is from the basic, the earth center. So, that is in a particular order. The earth center, the water center. From there the energy comes in, is stored in that there. The more energy you have, the aliveness will be in that way. The question is, one, how to become more and more alert. you have to be alert. Where does your nourishment comes from? What is the basic source of your nourishment? You are given the existential bioenergy. Proper utilization of that brings the energy. So whatsoever you do, make it an object. Make it your point to be alert of that. You are driving, you are walking on the street, you wake up, which foot you should take down first. When you are standing, at times walk bare feet on the grass, or in whatever way. If you do some immoral act, do it meditatively. It will not be long before the act will dissolve by itself and disappear. Then you will not be able to do it again. Not because you have created an armor against it, but because you are more alert. And how can you do a thing which needs sleep as a requirement? If something that requires sleep and there is no sleep, how can you do it? Understand well that basic distinction between Tantra and the other teachings. Tantra is more science, a scientific manner. It goes to the very root of the problem, transforms you from your being, not from the outer sheath of the character. The first nourishment, if the nourishment to the plant comes from the roots, and then chlorophyll will come in from the sunlight, the plants will be greener. If not, whatsoever you do is just on the periphery. Whatsoever you are is never on the periphery. There are two things, being and doing. Whatsoever you are is the center, is connected to the center. Your health is because you are at the center of harmony. Whatsoever you do is on the periphery. The quality of the act, not the act itself, is meaningful for Tantra. The quality, how you do it. For example, a butcher came to a Zen master Nanin. He was a butcher. And Nanin was a Buddhist monk. Buddhist monks, they abstain from all non-vegetarian because of non-violence. Nanin was a Buddhist monk who believed in non-violence. His whole profession and the profession of the butcher was of violence. The whole day he was killing animals, and when the butcher came to Nanin, he asked him, "What am I to do? My profession is one of violence. So am I to leave my profession first and then I can be a new man? Or there is some other way?" If you go to a priest, Hindu priest, he will tell you, stop eating meat. Nanan said, we are not concerned with what you do. We are concerned with what you are. So you go on doing whatsoever you are doing because that is your profession, the way of your living, but be more alert. While killing, remain alert, meditative, and go on doing whatsoever you are doing, we are not concerned with. Nanin's followers were disturbed. He is teaching something which is against the teachings of Buddha. Because here is a person, Nanin, who is a follower of Buddha, non-violence, a believer in non-violence, allowing a butcher to continue his profession. One disciple said, "This is not good." And we never expected that a person like you would allow a butcher to remain a butcher. And when he was asking, you should have told him to drop the profession. He himself was ready. Nanin is reported to have said, "You can change butcher's profession easily." He himself is ready to change the profession, but in that way you cannot change his quality of consciousness. The similar incident happened in the life of Gautam the Buddha. He was living in the city of Vaishali. There was a woman named Amrapali. She was known as the bride of the city, a prostitute, a dancer, excelled in all the forms of dance and music. A monk passes in front of her house in pursuit of begging for alms. He sees a beautiful woman standing at the terrace. Looking at the woman, he vowed to her. This was for the first time that a man a handsome man, vow in front of her. All those who came to Amrapali never showed this gesture. That touched her heart. She said, invited him to come to her way. She said, the month of the rainy season is coming. And seeing this that happened to the monk, all the other monks got concerned that he is inclined towards a woman and know what kind of woman is this. So he went to her house. She said, "I will take care of all your needs whatsoever is your way, but during this rainy season, stay here." So he said, "I have to ask my master." And when he asked Buddha, he said, "You can stay there." This baffled all the monks who were surrounding Gautam. They said, "This is wrong." And the monk stayed with him. Gautam said, "Wait until the monk comes back." He stayed there during the rainy season. After the rainy season was over, the monk came back. Behind him was Amrapali. The company of that monk transformed that woman, and she took sannyas. She became a monk. So Nanin is reported to have said, "You can change the butcher's profession." He himself was ready to change, but in that way you cannot change his consciousness. he will remain a butcher whether he is going to the temple or wherever it is. What is important, transformation comes when the consciousness is changed. He may become a saint, but the quality of his mind will remain like that of a butcher. That will be a deception to others and for himself too. Go and look at your so-called saints, what they tell you. Many of them remain butchers within. The quality, the attitude, the violence, then the very look towards you is condemning. You are a sinner and they are a saint. When they see you, the very look is that you are condemned, you are doing something. Nanan said, so it is good to change his outer life. It is better to bring a new quality into his mind. And it is good to let him remain a butcher outside, because he is distributed, he is disturbed by his butchery and the violence. If he becomes a saint, he will still remain a butcher. He is butcher, he is involved in violence because of his consciousness. What is important, that his consciousness is changed. His ego will be strengthened that way. So this is good. He is disturbed that violence is there, and he has become at least this much aware that he has considered his violence to be, he is disturbed with his violence, that this is not good. He is ready to change. But just readiness to change will not help him in any way. A new quality of the being, a quality of the mind, a new quality of consciousness has to be developed. Let him meditate. And after 1 year had passed, the man came. He had become a totally different person. Totally different person. This is the way of the awakened one. Does not say to change your profession, does not change, simply tries to inculcate in you the seed of awakening. In the barren soils of thy inner sanctum, oft do I use the manure of compassion. Then one day seed of awakening I sow. With the rain of thy infinite bliss, the rain of thy infinite bliss, the seed shall sprout one day, and then reckoning shall reap the fruit at the dawn of new awakening. At the dawn of new awakening, you will notice that a new foliage has started coming onto the tree. A year had passed, the man came, he had become a totally different person. He was still a butcher, but the man has changed, although doing remains the same. He came to Nanin and he said, now I am a different person. I meditated and meditated and meditated. My whole life has become a meditation because you told me to meditate in whatsoever I am doing. I did not ask. You did not ask me to change my profession. Now I could see how your words, your energy has transformed my life. I am butchering animals, but the whole day I am meditating. Now what do you tell me to do now? Nanan said, now do not come to me. Allow your awareness to make a path for yourself. Your awareness to decide what path you have to choose. You need not come to me. You need to come to me only as long as you are asleep. The moment you are awake, you are on your own path. So the butcher said, now only if you say, remain in the profession, will I pretend to be there? But as far as I am concerned, I am not there. So if you allow me, I am not going back. But if you say to go, then it is okay. I will go and pretend. I will continue. This is how, when your quality of consciousness changes, your whole life is transformed. Your quality of consciousness, you become a different person altogether. And Tantra is concerned with you, not with what you do. Tantra is concerned with what you are, not what you do. Is concerned with your being, not with your doing. I have to take a simple thing and take a longer time to explain to you than just giving the literal meaning of it that will not transform you. Tantra is concerned with. Tantra has nothing to do with sex or no sex, morality or immorality. It has to do with your beingness, to sow the seed of awakening in you, so that when there is awakening, you become the aura of that awakening. You become the fragrance, the beauty of that awakening. Awakening is the flower. When it blossoms, its beauty and fragrance fills the atmosphere, the environment around you. Only this much for this morning. We have a couple questions. Sometimes the questions are asked by the seekers, other times based on the consciousness of the seekers. I frame the questions and try to respond all those aspects that you may have in your mind but do not have the courage to ask. If one follows a certain law of life and calls this moral, then there is any objection according to Tantra. If one follows a certain way of life, and whatsoever way of life he follows, he calls it as moral, then is there any objection? Tantra objects in any way? Another way of asking the same question, but when you take a particular situation, it is like you have an electrical appliance, you want to repaint it. You paint it from all sides, not just as front, because it is front is shown. The way your appliances are placed in the setup of the kitchen, only the front is visible. The sides and the back is not visible. But if the sides or the back is rotting and they are not taken care of, it will affect the front of the appliance as well. So what normally we do, we clean the stove top, not the sides. To some extent we may do the front as well, but not the sides, because they are hidden between the cupboards. They are set up between the cupboards. At times you have to bring them out, check them, clean it. So this is how it goes on. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.